Mount Fuji is renowned as one of Japan's top tourist destinations. In recent years, a variety of problems have arisen between the overwhelming number of foreign tourists and local residents, making it a major social issue in the area. For the Japanese people, both now and in the past, Mount Fuji has always been a special mountain. Unlike a mountain range, Mount Fuji stands alone and reaches an elevation of 3,776 meters, a rarity even on a global scale. It is believed that climbing Mount Fuji brings spiritual blessings and various kinds of good fortune. Although it is still generally believed in modern times, the faith is not as strong as it was in the past. As can be seen in many Edo period paintings of Mount Fuji drawn from various places, the mountain is visible throughout the Kanto region. We're taking a look at the 36 views of Mount Fuji, the world's most famous collection of paintings. In the latter half of the Edo period, common people had more economic means and interest in leisure and travel increased, leading to increased sales of this art book, 36 Views of Mount Fuji, and it is believed that this work also contributed greatly to the spread of faith in Mount Fuji. Even in Tokyo, with its forest of skyscrapers, you can still see it from a high vantage point. Here is Mount Fuji as seen from the balcony of a staff member's home in central Tokyo. It's easy to imagine that in the past, when there were no buildings obstructing the view, the overwhelming presence of the mountain naturally became an object of worship. The founder of Mount Fuji worship is said to be a man named Kakugyo, who trained on Mount Fuji in the late 16th century and systematized the Fuji faith. In the Edo period, groups of lay believers called Fujiko were organized. Following Kakugyo, a charismatic leader named Jikigyo Miroku emerged during the Edo period, and the Fuji faith rapidly spread among common people throughout the Kanto region. At its peak, it's said that there were over 600 Fujiko associations within the city of Edo alone. Pilgrims would dress in white garments called shinishozoku, which are garments for the dead, and climb Mount Fuji with the mindset of being reborn. They carried kongozue, staffs like those used by Yamabushi, mountain ascetic monks, and appeared much like Yamabushi themselves. The final work in the 36 views of Mount Fuji that I introduced earlier is the only one that does not depict a full view of Mount Fuji. This is because this painting depicts the very midst of a Fujiko devotional, and the people depicted are Fujiko devotees. Climbing the mountain was a symbol of death and rebirth. In the old Fujiko tradition, it was customary to stay overnight at the 5th station and depart in the middle of the night to worship the sunrise from the summit. Since they climbed in silence as part of their training, some even sealed their mouths with paper or cloth, a practice called kuchidome, to restrain their words and purify their hearts. This parallels Yamabushi training, and there was also a period when women were forbidden from climbing Mount Fuji due to strong beliefs in female exclusion, though there were exceptions. The decline of the Fuji faith also resembled that of the Yamabushi's Shugendo. It rapidly faded during the Meiji period due to the state Shinto policy that deified the emperor. However, some Fujiko groups still exist today, continuing Mount Fuji pilgrimages and sacred rituals. It is not widely known that one can climb Mount Fuji in the Tokyo area. In the past, there were of course no public transportation systems like buses or trains, so just getting from Edo, modern-day Tokyo, to Mount Fuji was no easy task. It's easy to imagine how difficult that must have been. Among the members of Fujiko, there were many who wanted to go but couldn't due to financial or physical limitations. For such people, artificial mounds modeled after Mount Fuji, called Fujizuka, were built throughout the Kanto region. It was believed that climbing a Fujizuka would bring the same blessings as summiting Mount Fuji itself. Because of this, Fujizuka rapidly gained popularity among townspeople who were unable to travel to Mount Fuji. These Fujizukas still exist across the Kanto region today. Some Fujizuka can only be climbed during a limited period starting from July 1st each year, but I heard rumors that there are also Fujizuka that can be climbed year-round, and so I rushed to the scene. Two well-known Fujizuka in Tokyo are located within the grounds of shrines in Sendagaya and Shinagawa. Both are said to incorporate actual lava brought from Mount Fuji into part of their structure. To start, I headed for the Fujizuka in Sendagaya. This location is at a shrine with ties to ninja history, which I visited previously in an exploration of ninja-related historical sites in Tokyo. This is the shrine for ninjas who moved to Edo. This Fujizuka is said to be one of the oldest in Tokyo. Even the informational signs are elaborate and interesting. When I reached the summit, it was surprisingly tall, and I felt a subtle sense of accomplishment. It's said that from the top of many Fujizuka, one could see Mount Fuji. From here too, back when there were no tall buildings, it must have been clearly visible. There were miniature versions of real facilities found on Mount Fuji scattered here and there, giving the whole thing a playful, theme park-like vibe. Next, I headed to the other Fujizuka, located in Shinagawa. The hike starts here. The nearest station is Shimbamba Station. You can even see it from the train window. Passing through a large torii gate and climbing the stairs, then turning to the left, you'll find statues of Enno Gyoja, the founder of Shugendo and his accompanying demon. Even up to this point, the elevation is quite significant. Beyond here, the Mount Fuji feeling really kicks in. The chains along the path enhance the mountain climbing atmosphere. This is the summit. It feels taller than the Fujizuka in Sendagaya, so the view is better. Considering that buildings were much shorter in the past, people probably had a clear view of the ocean, which was much closer back then. Let's go down the mountain. Since I'd come all this way, I decided to try the local specialty, Edomae Tempura. At the time, fish caught in Tokyo Bay were called Edomae, meaning caught in front of Edo, and were prized as high-quality branded seafood. Since this town faces Tokyo Bay and was also known for its fishing and seaweed harvesting, tempura shops that take pride in authentic Edomae ingredients remain a local specialty. Since I'm here, I decided to take a walk to a place that still retains traces of Shinagawa's past as a port. The boats moored here are still used as fishing boats and yakatabune, traditional pleasure boats, faintly preserving the feel of the old fishing village. Shinagawa is one of Japan's leading office districts. The contrast with the skyscrapers towering behind it is interesting. Here it comes. This conger eel is said to be genuine Edomae anago. The batter is crispy, while the inside is packed with flavorful, fluffy anago, truly memorable. The sauce isn't too sweet and is just right. The miso soup was full of wakame. If you stop by the Fujizuka in Shinagawa, this is a highly recommended treat. After the meal, I took a detour to the station to burn off some calories. As soon as I stepped into the alley, old temples and streetscapes spread out before me. This gate leads to a post town from the Edo period. In the Edo period, this area was a post town along the major Tokaido Highway and flourished as an important transportation hub. Criminals during the Edo period were paraded through this area on horseback before being executed at the Suzugamori execution grounds in Omori, to the south of town. If you are interested, you can watch a video that walks the entire route and visits the site of the execution grounds, including the platforms actually used for crucifixion and burning at the stake, and the well where decapitated heads were washed, by clicking the summary link. Thank you for watching the video until the end. We will continue to introduce lesser-known aspects of Japanese folk beliefs and more, so if you're interested, please give it a like and subscribe. Japan B is a channel that randomly introduces little-known information about Japan.